Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha.
My name is Ulysses.
And today we're going to be doing a reading vlog where my dad reads romance for the first time. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Really excited to be filming today because we got my dad to read a romance. How do you feel about it?
I was convinced.
He typically doesn't read romance. This is the type of person that reads like Jane Patterson or mystery thriller type of books. But if I recommended a romance, he would totally read it. And you guys said he should read one, so that is why we're here. Originally, I was gonna jump him like right into a historical romance,
into the deep end.
Yeah, just like throw him deep in there. And a lot of people actually recommended for him to read some romantic suspense because he already likes to read mystery or suspense books. So everyone recommended the In-Depth series by J.D. Robb, aka Nora Roberts, and that's what we're going to read. I've actually never read this series. I know a lot of people love this series. I know Spencer from Intentionally Bookish like talks about it all the time. So we decided that we were just gonna buddy read it, and that is what we're going to do. It's a reading vlog. We both ended up reading the audiobook for it. Okay, so the In-Depth series, it has 63 books.
Wow.
And mainly it follows Detective Dallas. That's her name, right?
Eve Dallas.
Eve Dallas. I forgot her first name. So basically, you want to talk about the synopsis?
Yes, we can talk about the synopsis. I went blank there for a second. It's a detective in the 21st century, which is funny because it was written in the mid-90s, I believe, 95.
So it's a futuristic setting.
It's a futuristic setting, and you got to give it to the author because her vision of what the future was going to be is somewhat on point. A little not as descriptive, but very much in line of what we have in technology today, which is kind of weird. We got to give it to the author. She's amazing for doing that.
And I had asked, I said, even though it was written in the 90s, it doesn't feel dated, huh?
It doesn't. There's no, not dated at all. Not based on the stuff that she talks about in the book.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It follows Detective Eve Dallas, who's a very strong-willed, very independent woman who's just to herself and just like cuts everybody off at the knee.
Yeah, that's her personality. She's a homicide detective?
Yeah, she's a lieutenant in the homicide division in New York City, I believe.
And she ends up getting a call for a murder of a prostitute. And this is like a very specific murder. This isn't a spoiler, by the way. It's like literally the first chapter. It's very specific because whoever is committing these murders is using these very old style guns and weapons that are pretty much outdated. They're kind of similar to the weapons we use now, like shotguns and rifles and revolvers and things like that. But in this time, there is a gun ban. So a lot of people don't actually use these weapons. So it's kind of interesting in that way.
They're more in the collector scene.
Yeah.
They're so out of the loop with it that it's more in the collector scene of it all.
And then this woman has some ties with some famous politicians, and it's also kind of made known that this isn't going to be the first murder, that this is going to be a serial killer, and it's Eve's, job to kind of figure it out. She responds to the
first one and is the lead investigator in the murders.
Yeah. And then this is a romance. We're all talking about the plot, but we're not even talking about the romance. The romance follows Eve and Rourke. Rourke is he Irish?
I want to say he's Scottish.
Scottish.
Yes, because he has that Scotsman's accent through the book. So it's like, they mention it several times, how the heavy roll of the words that he says. So I think he's Scottish, and he's I would call him the Jeff Bezos of the book, because he is media. I mean, he owns a bunch of, he's just a billionaire with everything and owns all kinds of stuff. Like, he's like just above it all. The Jeff Bezos of the time is the best I can describe it. So, and the way she meets him is that he's a potential suspect in the murder. He somehow keeps getting tied into the murder. His name keeps popping up. So evidence and stuff like that. He is instantly attracted to her, but she's kind of wary. So it starts off as an enemies to lovers, kind of a forbidden romance, because she is the lead detective and he is a suspect. They're real bullish and like standoffish with each other, but the attraction is there, which is it's one of those like, oh my god, I hate you, but damn, you're cute. Yeah.
Which is basically like romance.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
The vibe I got off of it.
Yeah. So. Okay, so that is what this video is going to be. This is going to be a reading vlog, so you guys will come with us throughout the week. My dad, he had some breakfast dates. I went to the bookstore. We've already read the book. We're filming the intro and the outro on the same day, so I'll just go ahead and go on with the rest of the video. Hello, hi, hello. I look like a goddamn...
Greetings.
My dad told me to say greetings and salutations. He knows my intro. Sophia, what are you doing? Do you want to say hi to the camera? Go ahead.
Hello.
It's a whole family affair.
I was going
It's like a goddamn mess because I was not prepared to be filming, but my dad has some reading updates. So we posted on our Instagram stories if you want to see a reading vlog or if you want to see just a sit-down video, and you guys voted on a reading vlog, so that's what we're going to do. Dad, do you want to talk about how we picked this book?
Yeah, why not?
Go ahead.
I guess you did a little video of your haircut experience, and you posted that of our interaction in the car, and I guess some people on your channel were like, oh, does he read romance, or, you know, that it was weird that your dad knew you read romance, or any of that, and then they suggested maybe he should read a romance. For the first time, which I've never read before.
Yeah, this is his first time reading a romance.
It's my first reading romance, yes. And then, so, you came to me and said, hey, the people on my channel were asking if you would read a romance, and what would you do? And I was like, I'll read it, I don't mind. Yeah. And you posted several options. Your favorite book, or suggestions, and people suggested this one. Yeah. Because of my interest in the books I read.
Let me grab the book.
And then it was recommended by the viewers.
The series that kept coming up was the Naked in Death series by J.D. Robb, aka Nora Roberts. And it was so funny because I hadn't even told you what book we were reading. I was just posting this on my Instagram stories, like doing research beforehand to see what you guys wanted. And I call him, were you on your way to work?
I was on my way to work.
I call him to tell him this is the book that we're picking, and he said, oh yeah, I know, I saw your Instagram stories. I'm already reading the audiobook. It's free on our library. Yeah. So he was way more prepared than I was. So we ended up deciding to buddy read this series if it goes well. And this is my first time reading it too. So if it sucks, I can fully blame you guys.
On a little side note, because of the books I normally read, the Female Murder Club, the Number series by James Patterson, it's the strong female lead in this one reflects to those books that I've read, because I've gone through a number of those books, and it kind of pairs in my...
They're similar, like the characteristics of the plot.
Yeah, strong female characters in the book that you know, take control or are in charge and are strong-willed, and it kind of reflects in this book from the Women's Murder Club, so it's kind of nice.
Funny that you said that was a long series, the Women's Mystery Club, or Murder Mystery Club, because there's 50 books in this series.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I was like, I don't know if we're going to read all 50, but we'll get going through the first one and then see.
My dad talked about it a little bit. What chapter are you on?
12.
He's on chapter 12. I haven't started it yet, so I need to get on that.
I have a long commute, so... Yeah,
you do have a long commute, so I think I'm going to read it physically. I don't think I'm going to listen to the audiobook. So go ahead and give us a little brief. We're going to try to keep this as spoiler free, so just don't say any like key plot points that might have been shocking. Just kind of give an overview of what you think so far.
So it starts off pretty good with the character dealing with some emotional issues that she had going on for something that happened in the book. Right off the back, like she wakes up and she's talking about an incident that happened. So she's dealing with that as she gets up. And, you know, she's a cop, so she's real strong-minded and wants to get through it emotionally, but not show emotions. Going through it to show that she's still strong with it. It goes into, right into the problem. A very prominent person, well, obviously, the book, somebody dies, and it's a very powerful senator's granddaughter.
Have like any kind of misconceptions about romance? Like did you did? Okay, did you have any stereotypes like that you kind of gotten from mass media, or what you thought about romance previously before you read this book?
Well, I know you hate this, but
oh gosh,
I always thought them to be romantic, cheesy novels, telenovelas.
I hate that verbiage.
Right, so
it's okay. We'll let you get away with it. But
that's for a person that's never read a romance. That's the misconception, right? That's what it's always been printed. You see the covers and you're like, all cheesy and lovey-dovey, and then you kind of get the perspective of the book. So I went into it not expecting that, because you say they're not like that. So I've watched your stories, and I don't watch your YouTube channel, but I do follow your stories on Instagram. So
I have forbid him to watch my YouTube channel. Like, obviously, I know people are watching YouTube, but I'm just like, it feels weird when people watch it. It's like, this is my alter ego that I'm inviting you in to.
I didn't know what to expect from a romance book. I've never read one, and not even a cover of one. It wasn't a genre that I was attracted to. So I didn't go into it with any misconception other than your dislike of how people talk about it. And it's only from your Instagram stories that I get that.
Right.
I really hate when people say that it's cheesy. And but obviously my misconception, because you said that, I said, well, that's what people think. So I went in with that mindset.
But yeah, you were subscribed to like the mass media idea of it being cheesy romances, fluffy romances, probably just a little bit more steamy. Stuff like that, not necessarily like.
Well, no, the book is steamy, but it's not derogatory. Is it? Well,
I haven't read it, guys. So this is why he's talking more, because I haven't started it yet.
I mean, the book.
There's romantic encounters.
Yes, so it's very passionate in the descriptive of how characters are interacting in the book.
Okay.
But it's not like cover your children's eyes moment, but it's detailed, but not raunchy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's not raunchy. I don't find it raunchy, at least.
Interesting. I don't think romance books are raunchy, but again, I'm more of a romance reader, so yeah.
I don't read romance.
That was your idea of romance before you read it.
It's more relationship based, so it's not.
So you can already tell the difference between your mystery books and how this is actually a romantic suspense.
Yes. Okay. So they're making a lot of connections. There's a lot of the narrator for the book.
Ruark or something? Ruark? What is his name?
Oh, I'm not sure who the narrator is.
No, Ruark.
Well, he's not the narrator. There's a female narrator on the ebook that I'm reading. Ruark is the love interest in there of the Lieutenant Dallas, is her name. Eve Dallas. That's her romantic interest in the book. And it's not... He's, I think he's... what most women, he's rich, he's powerful, he's famous. She describes him into...
Tall, dark, and handsome?
No, deep blue eyes, auburn hair, tall, very tall.
Romance books have an obsession with people with red hair. It's really strange.
Yeah, he's not a redhead. He's like the light brown.
Oh, okay.
So not red hair. The only difference to me is from the suspense thrillers that I've read to this one is more of the connection and relationship that they're building. They talk about the more of how they're connecting. Because before they connect, they're talking about how she gazed him and observed his hands, or observed how he was looking at her, or the subtle gesture of him touching her chin, which is something, I do with my wife.
So it's like a slow burn romance so far. They're building up the anticipation.
No, where I'm at, they've already had an encounter. So
they've already slept together?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What chapter 11,
12. So
12, okay.
At the end of 10.
Okay. Alright, so I have to catch up and read. I had to put everything on pause because I have a live show tomorrow for our Historical Hellions. It's just not a good book that we're reading, but it's fine. The book that we're reading sucks. What I say about the book so far?
No, but it is interesting. I'm intrigued in the connections that they're making, and I have my suspicions of who...
The mystery aspect. So you're more interested in the mystery aspect, for sure.
Well, obviously it's my genre, it's my cup of tea, but the relationship and the connections that they're making kind of makes the book a little more interesting. Because it was leading up to it, and you can cut the sexual tension between the two characters, even listening to the book. So you're like, come on already, get on with it. So it kind of gets to that point, and you're like, okay, fine, now let's move on. What else we got? So it's kind of weird because she avoids him, and she's aloof, and then it's just... You
were over it. You were like, just get it done with. Let's move on.
Yes, but it was just more of the, it's like when you're watching the movie The Suspense, and you're leaning forward, and it doesn't happen. You're like, come on. Right.
That's funny. But you know what? Even though this is a romantic suspense, I feel like there's romance everywhere. Like Marvel movies and like all these TV shows, there's essentially romance everywhere. So this isn't too far off from what you're reading. I feel like you started you off easy.
The Patterson's ones
are very similar. That's where we're at now. We're going to see if we can vlog for the rest of the week. I thought this was going to take us like a couple weeks to finish because normally... I don't know how fast he reads. He reads his own books and I really like don't pay attention. So maybe next time I'll read one of your books that you pick.
Okay.
And we'll see. So anyways, I think we're going to be done by the end of the week probably with how fast he's reading.
I have an hour commute to and from, so every day I get 2 hours worth of the book.
Very important question that I didn't ask. What speed are you listening to right now?
So I started off at normal speed. And then
1.0.
1.0. And then I started playing with the thing because I wanted to get through the book.
Right.
So I started, so I'm 6 hours into the 11 hours, by the way.
You're 57% of the way in.
Right.
Wow, I need to get on it. You only have 4 hours left.
Yeah, so I started off at 1 and I started listening to it. And then I bumped it up to like 2 just because I want to get through it. And it was just gibbering and I was like, it wasn't making enough of a connection. Like, the words were coming out, but I wasn't picturing in my mind, and I like to actually listen to the details of it. So I went down to back to 1.25, and that's okay. And I think as I continue, I might leave it there. But I went back to normal speed because the connections and the descriptions of this book in romance will paint a better picture than just reading it at a faster speed. He says that he
doesn't want to speed it up to be like chipmunk speed because he likes like the dramatic pauses that the narrator does. It's more of like a cinematic experience.
And it builds the scene.
Which I never thought of because when I read audiobooks, I'm like, okay, let's get this done. I listen to like 2.5 speed. But I'm going to read this one physically because I found this entire series at my used library. This update, and I promise next time we talk, I will have read some of the book.
At least a percent.
At least. I have to get to at least 50% now. Alright. Goodbye. Mom, you're in our reading vlog. Say hi.
Hello.
You were not prepared?
I was not ready.
Did you know that my dad is reading a romance book?
Yes, I did.
You know that? We're budding reading. Would you read a romance book, Mom?
I think she would enjoy this book.
Mom, you wouldn't read a romance book?
I will buy you all the romance books your heart makes your heart happy.
So
yes, I would read a romance book.
You would actually enjoy this one because of the mystery and the suspenseness of the crimes and the investigative aspects of it. So you would read it because you like those types of books.
I feel slightly offended that you won't read a romance, but my dad will.
I will read a romance book. You know, I love all that Regency era.
My mom is a huge fan of the British monarchy. She loves the royals. She watches The Crown. So maybe I can get her to read a historical romance.
Oh, yes.
But would you read a book that has steamy scenes, Mom?
Has what?
Steamy scenes. Sex on page.
Don't all romance have sex on page?
No, they do not. There's some clean romances, that's what they call them, and it's more fade to black. So maybe they'll allude to something happen, but there's no description of what's going on.
Yes, I would read a romance with sex on page.
But you have to charge it. With the white cable in the...
Bam, chicka wow wow.
What do you think a romance book is, Sophia?
Where it's like...
I thought all romance had sex scenes.
No, not all romances have sex scenes. Younger sister.
My favorite sister. Shh, don't say anything.
What do you think a romance book is, Sophia?
Where, it's a lot of action to, find love or something.
Coco's limping. Sorry, I'm so sorry. My dog was limping. You okay? So a lot of action to find love.
Yeah, something big happens and then they meet each other and then they find love. So something like that or something.
So romance is just a book about love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a perfect description.
Yeah.
Greetings and salutation. Taking a little break from reading to have breakfast with the missus. Happy Monday, everybody.
I'm sitting in the car on my lunch break. I haven't even started the book. I know. My dad's already on chapter 15 and I'm such a failure. I started a new job and I'm training So my previous job, I used to work from home and I did a lot of reports, so I could like do the reports and listen to audiobooks. So I read a lot of audiobooks that way, but now I can't do that. So I definitely need to start the book today. I kind of already know like the vibe because I've been talking about it with my dad. So I'm just on my lunch break. I'm gonna get a salad for lunch. I've really been liking Book Talk recently. Like, I never really posted too much on Instagram or Book Talk. Like, my favorite is definitely YouTube because I love chatting with you guys. But Book Talk is so fun. I like recommending books, and I find like a lot of authors that way. Like, I have found so many romance books through TikTok, and it's fun. I feel like I found my corner of TikTok of like really just cool, positive people, and that makes me happy. So I'm feeling good. The past couple days I've had like this massive headache like at the back of my head, just throbbing, and today's like the first day that it really kind of like chilled out a little bit, because I can't be popping Excedrin migraines like they're candy. Like, that's not healthy. So I'm really happy that today is kind of like a little more chill. So that's it. Such a boring update. I'm sorry, guys. I know my dad's a better vlogger than me. All right, I'm gonna go eat my lunch. I'm gonna go eat a salad, and hopefully start the book finally. Oh, okay. You know what? The other reason that I haven't read the book yet is I have found this YouTube channel. Well, I didn't find her. Desiree from Genki Reader told me about her. Her name is Bailey Sarian. She's not a book talker. She does this thing called Murder Mystery Makeup, where she does her makeup and she talks about true crime. And I can watch that in small doses because I'm a scaredy cat. So if I watch like true crime documentaries, I legit get nightmares. But she also does this podcast called Dark History, where she literally talks about like dark, horrible things in history, and she like brings it to light. But it's so interesting, and I just love her humor and, you know, the way she like talks about things. So I'm gonna link some of the videos down below that I was watching, because I've literally been obsessed and have binge watched her entire YouTube channel. So that's like another reason I haven't really been reading. I'll be good and I'll read the book, okay? YouTube is distracting me. It's funny because you guys are watching this on YouTube, so YouTube is distracting you too. Go read that book after you watch this video, of course, and then go read it. All right.
Hello, everybody. Doing a little cooking in between chapters right now, which is great. So, taking a little break, cooking a little dinner. Hope you guys have a good day today.
Good morning. I'm trying to get coffee, but this line is honestly so long. I don't know if it's worth it, darlings. I don't know if it's gonna make me late. I'm trying to think if this line will make me late. But I feel like my boss should understand coffee being on time. Coffee being on time, you know? Tough decision. Hi. This morning was a little rough. I had a little bit of an endometriosis flare-up. Hey, we're moving. Okay, here we go. So yeah, coffee probably isn't the answer to that. I know it's not the answer to that. Caffeine and me don't really, you know, jive when I have a flare-up, but nobody said I make smart decisions. I sure in the hell didn't say that. Let's see. Updates on the book. Haven't started it, babes. I know I'm the worst. I really am. My dad has already finished it, and from what he said, he hasn't told me too much because obviously I haven't started it. But from what he said, he actually really liked it, which is good. He liked it so much that he's like, okay, let's start the second book. So that's exciting as well. We'll see what he says. I don't know if he liked it in a general sense. He's like, oh yeah, it's interesting, good to listen for the audiobook, or if he like genuinely like, you know, 5 stars. We'll see. Has to be at least 4 stars, right? Because he's reading the second book. My car has been like really just weird, to be completely honest. Okay, strange. So strange. I ran a bunch of errands. I got off of work, went to the gas station, went grocery shopping, went to Target. Like, I was getting shit done, you know? And then I come home to park, like literally in front of my house, and I reversed to like back up into the parking, you know, skirt, doing my thing. Not the best driver in the world, but you know, I was doing my thing. And then I went to go pull up a little bit, and my gear shift was just like willy-nilly. It was just like going up and down all loosely, but it was stuck in reverse. Like, it wasn't going in park, drive, neutral, nothing. It was stuck in reverse, although the gear shift was just like going up and down. So I'm like half parked in front of my house, like a little bit in the street, like freaking out. Nobody is home. Well, my sister was home, but she was sleeping with the baby and she was not answering her phone. And I was freaking out, like, what the fuck is going on with my car? And of course, you know, that day I had already had like a long day, so I just like a puddle of tears, because I know nothing about cars, and all I'm thinking is like, how expensive is this going to be to fix? Thankfully, my dad pulls up literally like 5 minutes into this little breakdown and is like, hey, cool, we got this, we gonna handle this. My neighbor came out, tried to see what was going on. Apparently, I have a very old vehicle. Apparently, a little piece came off, and that was the piece that controlled the gear shift. Who'd have thunk it? So it needed to be replaced, which was only like an $11 piece. To think that an $11 piece could cause so much, you know, damage, essentially. This is me just giving like excuses as to why I haven't read the book, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. They didn't have a pumpkin cold brew. I was so excited. It's okay. I got another iced caramel macchiato. I like those. I do. But I wanted a cold brew. She was really nice about it though, so. They had a sign and everything that said, sorry for any inconvenience. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, Starbucks.
Morning grind. Saying bye to everybody. There goes, where's that car? About to get in my car, drive work, put my trash cans away, and get about an hour's worth of reading in the morning, and we'll go from there. There's my wife watching me over there. She thinks it's cute that I vlog. Never done this before, feels weird, but we'll get through it.
Hello. We are here to film the outro. We're wearing the same clothes as the intro. We're matching. Okay, so we finished the book. My dad finished the book eons before me. Literally eons. Yeah. He listened to the audiobook. He has about an hour drive, a commute every day, there and back.
Yes, an hour there, an hour back.
And so he finished it way before me. I was reading some other stuff and I felt really bad because he was just on board. And let's talk about our rating. So the way I rate romance books is I give them rating 1 star through a 5 star, 5 being the best, being a 1 star being absolute trash. What is your overall rating, Dad?
I give it a 3.5, 4 stars. Okay. I really enjoyed the book. I love the character's progression. I like the dynamics of how everything ended up and how everything went. So I give it a 3.5, 4 stars.
Okay. All right. I also give it a 3.5, 4 stars. Originally, I was going to give it a 3.5 and round it up to a 4 because I don't like giving half-star ratings. I'd say it's like my all-time favorite, but I definitely would recommend it to someone that likes mysteries and thrillers, and I also think it's a good introduction to romance. What do you think?
I agree. I am not a romance novel reader at all. I've only seen, and as you would put it, cheesy covers, and you know, I know you don't like that, but that's the mainstream view of a person who's never read a book before from romance. Mm-hmm. That's my only outtake on it. I've never not even read the cover or the back of the book just to see if it was an interesting story or not on any romance. So for me, the intrigueness was more of the suspense thriller part. But this romance and the connection of the characters kind of had me like on the suspense, like are they gonna kiss now, or are they gonna meet up, or is she really falling in for him? And like there was a portion in the book where something happened, and you can see the dynamics of the characters going away from each other. Mm-hmm. And you're like, no, wait, don't do that. Like, come on.
You're like, communicate.
Like, come on.
Yes,
like,
yes.
You're right there. Like,
yeah. I would say, okay, so the reason I didn't give it a 5 stars was because the beginning of the book, to me, it was very hard to get into. It was very slow. It wasn't until like 20-30% of the way in that I was really into it. I think our heroine was incredibly stubborn. And I didn't like the fact that she treated our hero like a suspect for the majority of the book when it was so painfully obvious he had nothing to do with the murder. You know what I mean? So that was the only thing I didn't like.
See, I'm the other side.
Oh,
so
okay.
for me, because I'm a mystery suspense guy, the intrigueness of the murder and the description of the scene and how things were progressing in the investigation to me was like, okay, like,
yeah,
we have a really good guy who's committing these murders, and like, let's try to figure it out now. So for me, it was the intro. She just had, shot someone. She was supposed to go to evaluation, and then she's like, nope, cancel that. We got another murder scene, and it's a high priority. We need you to respond. And you're like, ooh, who is it? And what happened? So for me, that's the part that, I'm more of I read 1 or 2 chapters, and if I'm not captivated, the book's going thrown in the trash. Like, so for me, like, it started off with like, oh my god,
like a bang.
Yeah, like I shot someone. I was like, what? Wait, what do you mean you shot someone? And then leads into a big profile murder, and now in the descriptiveness of the author of the murder scene, how it went down, and they kind of caught my attention really quick, and it kept me reading the book.
What I did like about the book was so yes, our heroine was stubborn, but I feel like in romance, I know you don't read a lot of romances, but a lot of times we have, the girl that's not like other girls, who's a total badass, a little special snowflake, but then when it comes down to it and she has to actually save herself, she's always the damsel in distress. I feel like our heroine was actually a good example of like an independent, strong woman. She definitely like took care of herself. So I did like that part.
Yes, but you can also see that she had a lot of flaws and issues in the book.
Yes.
To where her counterpart, Rourke, helped her work through those problems. And it goes to take, in that romance aspect, where you have a strong female character who's just independent, strong-willed, but also still needs that kind, gentle reassurance.
They're a good balance.
From her lover or friend who's like, listen, I got you. Like, let's work it through.
Okay, so yes, it was slow burn in the beginning, but then I was kind of surprised how quickly they kind of got together, knowing that there's 60-ish books in the series. I don't know if it follows the whole couple. I feel like I would get bored if it follows the couple every time. But I guess what keeps the series going is going to be that she's a detective and she has new cases to solve and things like that. I was gonna say, there are trigger warnings. I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. It's a lot more detailed and gory than I expected. Maybe that's because I'm familiar with mystery and crime, but like, I didn't expect them to like really go into detail like how these women were murdered. I thought it was gonna be like an after fact, but we really were like I think there was a chapter that even followed the murderer's point of view without you knowing who it was.
Yes, there was a chapter where they started off with the woman getting herself ready for her date with her client. Yeah. So there's trigger warnings for that, and there's also trigger warnings for mention of sexual assault. So make sure to read the Goodreads reviews if you need those type of trigger warnings. But overall, I think it was really good. I'm going to test you now to see how you know romance. It's going to be like a little test. Sure.
Okay. What do you think makes a romance novel a romance novel?
What makes a romance novel a romance novel?
Yes.
The progression of connection between two characters and their love peeking into them being together towards the end of the book.
Oh, that's a really good explanation. I kind of like that. I might steal that.
Yeah.
So do you think romance novels need a happily ever after? Like the couple, do you think they need to be together at the end?
I mean, if it's a standalone book, yes.
Okay.
But like you said, like now we know there's 60 books and the couple's together. What's next?
Okay.
You know.
So in a series, they don't have to be
in
together.
A series, I don't think so. I think for the authors, if you're gonna write a series and you're doing a book and you're doing 4 or 5 books, or you have in mind to do more than one book, cliffhangers at the end where they might have gotten together, but something happened and kept them apart.
To keep you interested.
But they were interested in being together, and you leave us with that. Oh, come on. It might progress into wanting to read the second book to see if they made it together. So.
Right. Okay, cool. You can name 3 romance authors. Don't look behind you.
Well, obviously, I'm a very involved father, so I know all the, Beverly Jenkins, Lisa Kleypas, and Nora Roberts now.
There you go. You can name 3 romance tropes.
Friends to lovers.
My favorite.
Age gap.
My favorite.
And what's the
And this this video? What would this trope be? They were kind of enemies at first.
Oh, enemies to lovers. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he got most of them.
I wouldn't know if it was friends, enemies to lovers.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, I get why that would be the trope for it. But I see it more in line. She was trying to do her job and be objective in the investigation, and was trying to like keep him at bay.
All right.
But
it's
that's
not true enemies to lovers.
Right, because she was real heart taken, and you can tell when every lead led to another thing pointing towards him. You can see her heart just ache. Like, why is it always leading to him being guilty?
I know.
And she was like heartbroken, and she tried to be like clean herself off and be like, no, I can do this. I can prove it's not him.
She was in denial. Yeah.
So I think her connection with the character, with the Rourke, made it to where she proved it wasn't him, and because of her belief in him, she says, yes, it points towards him, but let me investigate better to prove it's not him.
We're going to continue with the series. The next book in the series is Glory and Death, I believe. And that's where we kind of want your guys' opinion. We want to continue with the series and continue making this a series. So would you guys like us to do more reading vlogs where my dad is reading romance and he joins me and you know, go on with us with our week? Or would you like to do a book club specifically for the In Death series, and we will read the majority of the series? We're not going to read 60 books because that's a little intense. Maybe the first 10, I think, is a reasonable goal. So if you guys would be interested in joining that book club, let us know. And also let us know if you guys would like live shows on my channel where my dad joins us live. Coming to you live.
Live, yeah. Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, there you go. Okay, so that is it. Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Alright.
I'm looking forward to see which way I get pushed to do, because I'm interested to see which way we'll go. But I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the absolute world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Like and subscribe.
Oh my gosh, bye.